Hey, welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, and I'm going to do a shadow reading, and I look at everything really within my readings, but I like to go in deep. So we look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play it as karmic themes along with everything else. But I like to let people always know that it's um a different style of reading. Is a little bit longer because there's a lot of education in this style of reading. And the reason why is because you're not dealing with just yes or no's. You're dealing a lot of times with really toxic energy, and you're dealing with behaviorisms that are in alignment with that. And then also your own triggers from that energy. So understanding why the karmic theme is playing out the way that it is essential for you to be able to break the karmic cycle, whether or not that's the karmic cycle with the same person or a new person that has all the same spiritual blocks as the previous person. And that's what a lot of times we find ourselves in a karmic loop, which is this is the same type of karmic situation that I was just in. And so, like I said, when we want to change the energy, we have to change ourselves. And these readings are made to help you do that. All right, now anything of any importance or relevance to the channel you can find in the description box, including my shadow healing coaching program. $7.99 will get you inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. Because when we are in a relationship with a narcissist, well, we have to then recondition our nervous system. We have to actually recondition the way that we think. When you are around a narcissist for long periods of time, it can really create brain damage because no one's supposed to live in survival mode for long periods of time. No one's supposed to feel like there's something wrong with them, that they're not safe for long periods of time. All right. I know that you guys know that, but I always like to put that out there. And if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always that underlining energy that tells me why everyone's doing what they're doing, which is important when we're doing these type of readings, because when you're dealing with a person that has a lot of spiritual blocks and shadows, well, they wear masks, they create personas, they create illusions that are to gaslight and manipulate. So understanding why is part of the therapeutic process, because you can look at it from that person's, you realize that it's that person's perception is based on how they feel about themselves, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why it's therapeutic, where a lot of times the person triggers us. Now we're like, this person made me feel, this person put me in a place that made me not feel safe, that I don't trust myself. So, like I said, to be able to actually really do healing, it's not just to heal one layer. Healing is actually, it's like peeling an onion. You get one layer, then there's another layer. And the reason why is because of how it psychologically and emotionally makes us feel when we're in an imbalanced relationship, and how we wind up growing away from ourselves and adapting behaviorisms and habits and wear masks in order to compensate for that. Okay. Now let's see what the underlying energy is. It's jealousy. It's jealousy. It's like, I feel like you're connected to somebody that normally loves to make people really jealous. It's like they want to feel desired. They want to see people chase after them. This person has a very low self-esteem. I feel like they play a lot of games. They're commitment phobic, and they sure as hell can give it out, but they can't take it. And I feel like you're someone that took your energy back, and this person is actually like going through an array of different emotions, everything from jealousy to anger to resentment to anxiety to nervousness Now we only know that there's only two energies, which is love and fear. So everything that this person is that you are doing because you took your energy away from this person, everything that's coming up is fear. So when we see that, we're not going to really see positive energy, just so that, I know that you guys know that. But let's see what they did when they were connected to you and how they made you feel. Like again, commitment phobic, always felt like they had an exit plan, like they had one foot in, one foot out. You never felt like they would emotionally really um be connected. This is someone that tends to compartmentalize, meaning like they have maybe some person that they would have a relationship with that's intimate, and then another person they would confide in, and then another, like every single person plays a different role. This person has major trust issues, and the person tends to compartmentalize when they have major intimacy issues that are created from trauma. Intimacy is not just about sex in the bedroom, but it's about being able to be emotionally vulnerable, to be able to experience intimacy, to be able to express compassion for someone else. So this person has a hard time because I feel like they don't react the way that they should react during certain times. Emotionally, they're not intelligent. They don't want to get close enough to actually build that. So the person's always coming from their intuition, but they're not healed. So, the person that is reacting more from their wounds than they are from their heart. And it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings for you. What it means is that they want to be in a relationship, but they have never been in a relationship that's been balanced. It's normally always codependent. There's always attachments, mainly because this person is insecure. They come into the relationship 1,000 miles an hour, and then once they get you hook, line, and sinker, then they're too comfortable. Then they're not comfortable with it being just a balanced, relationship. They get bored in the day in, day out, day in, day out. And again, the fantasy is over. This person needs to be fed constantly and emotionally. And I feel like it's they would bring out a part of you that you don't like. I feel like this person plays games, but they do so to get a reaction out of you, where they see like you as being fierce, and you do feel fierce. Like you have to be very protective of your energy because you don't trust this person, because they're not letting you be emotionally vulnerable. They're not really solidifying the relationship by, you can't be in a relationship like compartmentalize. You can't give a different person a different piece of you. You have to be a whole person. You know that this person is fragmented. And if they're fragmented because, again, they don't really feel comfortable to give anyone all of themselves. So they can be talking to a bunch of people that they have absolutely no emotional feeling whatsoever, no connection, but those people feed them, feed their ego. And so again, it's a counterfeit, but which we know it's counterfeit because it's not based on equal give and take. It's just person is getting their ego fed mainly by people that don't know their value or want something, one or the other, because no one's going to do that for a person that doesn't give. And that's the thing. It's like, I feel like you got tired of just, you don't know what you want. I want a commitment. I know I'm deserving of a commitment. You not wanting a commitment makes me feel as if that there's something wrong with me, when really you'd rather just sit there and talk to other people, where really it's like those people there's no real connection. They're just people to distract you, to again making you perceive as if you're more important, more desirable than you actually are, to be honest, because always in the beginning, you know, but it's like this person, I feel like in a way they crushed you really emotionally because you expected them to act a certain way. After a certain amount of time, you expected them to, you know, like care about what, that their actions were affecting you. And I feel like they didn't. And that's really hard when you have a really strong connection with somebody. And I feel like it's all because this person was crushed by someone else, that they are emotionally hurt, and they never really healed themselves. They don't really know how to heal themselves. And so they just go into the next relationship, and then the next relationship, the next person gets to deal with like an emotionally not available person. And I feel like you're at the point where you're like, you have a long way to go before like you find what you want. And I feel like because part of this person made you really look at your own life. And I don't feel like you guys are old, but I don't feel like you're in your 20s anymore, the majority. And that it's almost like, or if you are, you're an old soul. And that you just saying like you have such a long, like you have a lot of work to do, a lot of work, like where I wouldn't be able to give you that. I can't give you that. And I feel like that's what you're noticing. And at this point, you're like, I don't even know what I want anymore because I thought that it was you. And now it's not you. And I also want to know why I attracted that you into my life. I feel like that's what this person brought out within you, because they wouldn't really give you anything. They use a different deck. They weren't, what I'm saying is that they weren't really giving you anything. It's that they wouldn't get close enough. And then, of course, you would get emotional because you're like, okay, after a certain amount of time, and I am opening up to you, I am sharing things about my life, and I am building a connection to you. And you're like letting me give it to you, but the whole time you're emotionally not available for me because you're other places. And like you just make me feel like you don't want me like really around. You don't really, you want to isolate me. You want to like keep me to yourself over on the side, and then you want to have your whole other life with other people. And that doesn't mean it's a bunch of different relationships, but sometimes people have friends in their life that, one person wants a little bit more, where maybe your person doesn't want the relationship, but that friend is sticking around because they want that relationship, or they hold on to people that they once dated. Sometimes it's not a whole love affair. It's just the person gets what they need on an emotional level from other people that they should be looking to their partner to get. Not all the time. And this almost seems like a person that went through a relationship and they were always codependent. So now they went the other way, where they're too much not going to give anything because that's safe. It's like they went into a relationship, they were really codependent, they lost themselves. Now they completely have a whole other life to themselves, and they don't give anything except for a little breadcrumb. And unless you're going to give more than that breadcrumb, then it's not enough to sustain you, because you're not running around talking to a bunch of different people and just to get your ego fed. You're not doing that. You're expecting this person to give you the time and the energy. And it's like, why are you going to hang out with your friend? Why are you going to tell your friend things that you wouldn't confide in me? After a certain amount of time, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like in the beginning of the relationship, when maybe person doesn't want to tell you everything. This is like you've been in this person's life for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. It's been an on and off relationship, and it never progresses. And so, and the reason why is because they're not giving you the time. And I feel like that in a way crushed you because you're like, I can feel the connection, but it's like you're making me feel like you don't want to be with me. And I feel like in a way, this person like needed you to be jealous to give them more. This is their natural way of being. They know that they're just giving a breadcrumb. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. They were trying to, create fear in you so that you would again do more. When really it's like this person hasn't created the time to enough. It's like what was happening instead is that you began to judge this whole situation. You began to judge them because you were like, why, if you really care about me, why are you happy seeing me sad? Why do you want to abandon me? It's like you actually want me to feel like helpless, and that made is what I feel like made you angry because you're like down deep inside, not just angry, you're disappointed because you're like, wow, I didn't realize that you were that type of person. Like, I didn't realize, like, you said you wanted, like, you awoke, and I feel like this person awoke in the love that was inside of you. Like the Bob Marley always says, never awaken love with inside a woman. I think is don't awaken love within either party, a woman or a man. Like if you're not serious, because it's people are sensitive, and it's not just women that are sensitive. Men can be sensitive too, and sensitive doesn't just mean emotionally. It means I can feel that. It's like, and I really thought that you were someone else. And that's really what it is. I thought you were somebody else, and you're showing me that it's okay that you put me in pain, that you want me to be jealous. You want me to chase after you. You want to play this game where you don't give me anything and I chase after you and keep giving you more and more and more and more and more. And you just like exclude me. So why do you want to see me in pain? This is why you're like, that you have so too much healing that you need to do for yourself, because you don't really seem to have regret about how you treat me. And again, if you really love me, if you really cared about me, you would. And so I feel like this is the energy that you got because of this person's games. Now what we're going to ask is, did this person mean to play these games? And I know that that sounds crazy, and it doesn't really matter whether they meant it or not, because you're still getting the same manifestation. However, intention is everything, and understanding why a person does what they do allows you to look at this situation again through a different perception, and in that will be extremely healing for you, because you put that back on them. You're like, that's everything that you did was not because of me, it was because of you. I might have been your mirror. I might have triggered you, that you had to grow up or do something for yourself to help you evolve. And that part of you is wounded, but that's all you. And you're responsible for that, is what it is. Instead of, this person made me feel like, and because they did X, Y, and Z, it's like people do what they do, not because of why you think that they do it most of the time. It's because of something that's going on with inside of them. So we say, what are their like almost hidden truths? I should have taken the hidden truths cards. Let's look at the hidden truths too. But let's see. Okay, passion and desire. Not uncommon, but there's also a fine line between love and hate. Remember that, especially when a person is on a low vibration and they play games. And this is what it almost seems like. It's like this person has passion and desire for you, but they needed to feel like you had the same passion and desire for them, and they just didn't feel like you had it. And I'm not saying that you didn't have it. What I'm saying is that you don't, again, maybe feel that comfortable to express yourself that way, number one, and where as comfortable as this person needs would be a little bit too comfortable also. So they're imbalanced, but you're a little imbalanced where like you're not going to open up emotionally because you didn't, maybe you needed them to prove to you to be a certain way and they never did, is what I'm feeling. So you didn't really open up to them, and that triggered them where they're like, I need for you to show it, but it can't express and ask you for what I need. And so instead, I'm going to play all these games to try and trigger you to get underneath your skin. And then I'm going to intuitively read like your reactions, but they're not psychic, because, or they might be sensitive, but they're not psychic because they haven't healed all their wounds, and everything that they're seeing is filtered through that wound. Everything that they're feeling is, again, filtered through that wound. So their actions and their behaviorisms are going to be in alignment with that, where this person's like, I know what I'll do, which this is how the person sabotages the connection, because the focus is on, I don't want to know whether this person doesn't like me. I don't, I don't want to be rejected. So again, the focus is on rejection unconsciously, because people don't do all that unless to strategize and scheme in their head with crazy scenarios to get people to do things, unless they're fearful that they're going to look stupid, that they're going to be abandoned, that they're going to seem inadequate, that it's going to make them feel something. So they're coming from the mask. So I believe that this person really does have feelings for you. No one puts in this much effort in not caring. If you don't care about someone, you don't have a problem. Like, sharing your emotions is when it becomes real, is when this person has problems, which is why they compartmentalize. Well, it's easier for me to tell this person this about myself and have them know this information about me, where it's not going to be comfortable for me to like share that with you because they're not healed. And you say what creates that? A parent that was not trustworthy, a parent that betrayed them, and that could be violated them, made them not trust them, abused them somehow, verbally, physically, psychologically, it doesn't matter. I wish I could give you more. So again, this person doesn't feel like they have enough to give you. And so again, that makes sense too, because the person doesn't feel great about themselves. They really want to feel as if, the person really likes them before they invest, because they don't have a ton to offer. And then, they don't want to look stupid either. So there's coming from a place of lack and a place of lack. I mean, this energy is very weak energy, emotionally unavailable. And that's what I said. It's like they emotionally know in order to be in a relationship, they have to show up. And this person struggles with that. They've been dealing with these emotions for a very long time. And that's what happens when a person has trauma that they haven't healed. They go into relationships, they just keep going into one relationship, and they just jump from one relationship into another relationship, into another relationship, and they just keep bringing in the baggage. So that what happens is they detach emotionally. Now, in the beginning, they really think that they have feelings because it's led by passion. It's led by, I'm attracted to you, and we again have this connection. But the problem comes when the person, it begins to become that every day, that routine, which, you know, this person doesn't feel safe. They never grew up in that, where somebody that is balanced, somebody that's emotionally stable, doesn't look to create the drama. This person's almost like addicted in the drama, even though they might not like the drama. Everything that they do creates trauma because they're emotionally unavailable. So it's easy for them to obviously check out of the relationship. But being emotionally unavailable means that they're detached, they're disassociated, they have that um anxious avoidant attachment style. So, you trying to get comfortable in a connection and you expecting the connection to actually grow and advance is what the problem is. Because this person, like you said, has issues with themselves being able to commit on that level because emotionally, you really do have to show up every day and be invested when you're in a relationship, a serious one. I get emotional when I think of you. And so that's another thing. So here this person saying is that they're emotionally not available. However, they do have an emotional connection to you, which is a spiritual connection. So they don't understand this connection. It makes them feel weaker. It makes them feel more vulnerable. And it brings up all their shit. Doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. They wouldn't want to have a relationship sometimes. It's just they want to have the relationship on their terms. And I feel like they're emotional because, listen, you took your power away from this person. And like, you don't make me feel comfortable. You have one foot in, you have one foot out. You're emotionally not available for me, so I don't feel comfortable even being transparent with you because you compartmentalize and I don't see any growth in this relationship. So to continually invest, I just can't do it anymore. So this person sees that they're in the position that I created all this. But I might not have wanted to create all this to the point I might have wanted to create space. Well, in that requires communication. This person doesn't know how to do that. I'm afraid of losing you. So what they hold here is a cognitive dissonance, which is I want it, but I don't. I want it, but so what you'll have is somebody that will try to control the relationship, which is very manipulative, where they're not really thinking about your needs. It's a very selfish way, but to create the relationship that they're comfortable with, that they know emotionally they'll be able to give, which isn't going to be a lot because they're not emotionally available, but not because of you, but because they haven't done the healing. And if you haven't done the healing and you stay detached and disassociated, then you don't know what you feel. And then if you're not giving to the relationship, how long is that passion and that fire going to last? It doesn't last long. And that's what this person doesn't get. That's why their relationships don't work. And then they're, going to just go into the next relationship doing the same thing without taking time to heal, they're just going to go back right into it. So it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. What it means is that they know that they have things that they need to work on and that it's just not going to jive with you because you require emotional more because again, it shows that you have, again, that you're fierce in your boundaries. You're fierce in the way that you're like, I will not be treated badly. Like boundaries where this person has feelings for you, but it's like you're holding a gun to their head, being like, if you want to be with me, this is what it is. So they are experience all different emotions. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a gun to their head. If someone's going to come into your life, you should be that with your boundaries. Always protect yourself. It's again, this person needs to rise. Why do you think spirit brings people into our life? To make us change. Nothing will make us change like unconditional love. You can't transmute negative energy with negative energy. So this person's coming to you and they're all like, their intention is good, but they haven't healed and they don't really know how. Instead of them trying to control it, is to find the balance within the situation. Balance might be, hey, you'll be in my life as a friend with no expectations. And if you can't do that where you prove it to me, then you won't be in my life at all. You know, I mean, people, if they really have feelings for you, they will compromise and compromise to where you're holding to a certain standard. So you're actually also comfortable, but compromising because you're giving leeway to this person if there's true love there. Not just for anyone. We won't do this just for anybody. But a lot of times when we hold on to a cognitive dissonance, which is I want it, but I don't, it's the answer is never going to be yes or no. Because you're like, I'm gonna let this person in my life. Like, I'd be stupid. They have a lot of problems already. Whether they're just gonna do the same exact thing. Well, if the person wants to redeem themselves, where they're afraid of losing you, well, you'd have to display compassion. You'd have to display the higher levels of consciousness, because that's what it's about. That to evolve back into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love, we would have to display forgiveness, compassion, but only if the person really deserved it. And the only way you'd be able to discern whether the person was true or not was if they held to your standard, your boundaries. Doesn't mean they're going to like it. And it doesn't mean that they won't say, well, I need to think about it. But love always wins. Remember that. My ego is fragile to criticism and rejection. So they're going to see it as rejection because at first that's what it is. This person's used to just going back into the relationship the same way that they left the relationship. So realize that. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head. At times it triggers me. Again, they feel like you're so connected to them. And that what that is that that's their ego telling them also. I mean, their ego is telling them one thing, but their conscious, which is from the higher self. Let me correct that, right? It's not the ego, but it's their higher consciousness that is talking to them, saying what you're telling them is true. What you say about them is true, which again, which you might have called them out on their, trying to fill themselves with empty relationships and outside things. And that really, instead of healing themselves and working on themselves and to do and that they would be able to find their balance in the relationship. It's like it feels like they know this because they see what you're saying, and I feel like it triggers them because it's almost like you know them better than they know themselves, and that freaks them out. This journey is teaching us one of the most important spiritual lessons of patience. So it's almost like that I feel like there's a lot of soul connection here, which is it's learning. It's learning, but there is unconditional love. But it's like in figuring out surrender brings us together faster than resistance. So it's like this connection, and I don't know whether it's just like a soul relationship. I wouldn't say it's a twin flame, but almost like a past life karmic mate, someone that there is lessons that you both are learning in unconditional love, because this person like does have unconditional love for you, that what they did do, their intention is good, their execution is shit. And that's because, again, everything is being navigated through the wounds that they have, which is I'm going to control, I'm going to strategize, and I'm going to rely on my intuition. Though I'm not emotionally intelligent and I have a lot of baggage, so it's not going to look good at all. And what this person keeps having to deal with is, again, which is learning how to surrender, meaning stop trying to control. And like, but this person has a hard time with it. It's like, again, because they're used to dealing with lower vibe people that, you know, will blow smoke, but there's no realness to it. And so this person has to realize that what, in order to feel that, they have to give that. And that's what's terrifying to this person. And I feel like that's the spiritual part of their spiritual journey into wholeness. But it would definitely trigger you. I feel our energy merging together as if it has a life of its own. So even though you guys might go like break up or like not talk for a long time, like what happens is eventually like you don't stay angry, you don't stay mad anymore, you begin to miss this person, they miss you, and eventually like you guys keep manifesting yourselves back. So this has been a relationship that has been on and off, on and off, on and off. And that's what I said. When that's, you know, that the relationship holds on to a cognitive dissonance, and it's one that you're continually getting triggered. So it's a past life karmic, but there is a lot of unconditional love that's helping you both to surrender into what unconditional love is and to learn to create balance within your own life, because you're not just going to give all your energy to this person. So you're both people that don't give anything. You both have some that have closed hearts. So what'll happen is if this person has a closed heart, you may give to try and give them something, but if they had an open heart, you would be like, now I'm not going to give. So because it grew up in the same environment. So I feel like you're both learning how to surrender, meaning you're not in charge of who you fall in love with. And no love is perfect. You're not going to make it perfect. You make yourself as perfect as you can become. And there's no such thing as perfect, but you live an excellent life. And in that, you can create a perfect relationship. And the fact that if the person is open and willing and wants to come back the way that this person wants to come back, with the right intention. Now, it's also going to take, like, again, this person's watched you for a long time on social media and on the internet. So it's something like where they feel as if they've done a lot of research. They feel like they've done a lot of things to keep tabs on you. They've spent a long time away from you. They've thought about it. So I kind of feel like they've invested, even though they might not have. So it's to make sure that you are setting the appropriate boundaries for yourself, to make yourself feel comfortable in the relationship, because it's not just going to happen. Before I pull, why did you attract this person into your life? We will ask, how will the relationship go? Because what I see here is it's like they want to come back. It's not like they don't want to come back. It's just they're fighting with their ego, but they also know that it's getting harder to resist. So even though everybody has an ego, the ego is survival. And on a spiritual level, there is a very strong spiritual connection. However, like I said, I just feel like they still need healing. And but this says is, again, when I ask, they really want to they really want to like create a relationship that you like. We see it right here, like a hookup harmony. Like they want to come into your life and actually give. And whether that's help you with your business, whether that's help you with your house, whether help you, they want to give of themselves. They want equal, like equality, right? So that's equal give and take, reciprocity. They really do want that. That really is their intention. I think that it's scary for them because they have to learn how to surrender their ego, but that's what they're learning how to do right now. And again, this person is normally a lone wolf. So understand that they tend to be somebody that is normally by themselves. They love their freedom. But I feel like this person feels that they can find the balance with you. And that's what it is. It's like, and I think it's because the relationship has gone on and off, on and off, on and off, and you show that you don't really need to have this person in your life. You don't have expectation of this person. You're like, okay, you're not giving me what I need, so I'm not going to stick around for this, and I'm not going to be manipulated into playing your game either. So that now this person now has respect for you, number one, and number two, it's because and they still see that they still have feelings for you, that they can't control it. They remember how much time and energy, effort you put into the relationship before, and maybe that's just by being there for them, but they're feeling like maybe this really could work. Yeah, like it's at they because at this point, like them being separate from you, I feel like I feel like it's punishing them more than it's punishing you. And that's number one. And there's a sense of, I feel like this person like wants to be vulnerable with you. There's a sense of tired of having the wall up. They want that. It's like, again, whatever they're doing is creating so much more punishment for them than it is you. Because you're like, I'm not getting what I want, I detached. It's like, I'm not gonna play this game. This person's not used to that. Yeah, they were playing a game. They were playing a game that they normally win, but unfortunately, they didn't win this time. And now again, they're lonely because of it. And again, what they see is whatever power that they had before, they lost all their power in the relationship, all because they tried to like hook you by manipulation, okay? By by like that by really by not by just playing games, like you said. So this is just what they thought. So it's like on top of it, they feel foolish, and then I feel like on top of it, they they avoided you. They again didn't really. They tried to fake it to try and scare you. They tried to run and pretend that there wasn't any problem. This is what they did, right? And now it's like, it's at this point, like you said, they want love. They want love. It's like they want love, okay? They have this connection with you. I just feel like it's gonna take a lot of boldness on them, stop, and again, and unstoppable courage, but they're gonna do it. It's like it's almost like this person feels like, again, you're their destination, like they're gonna like do it. I don't think this person has ever came back to anyone and apologized to anyone before, number one. And this is extremely like, for them, this is very healing. They're like, for this whole relationship is healing. We're gonna see, why did you attract this person into your life? That's one. Let's see. When they fall out like that, I just move them. Oppression. The first one that came out is innocence. Resilience. Well, that's what you showed this person, boy. Oof. Naive. Unworthy. So I feel like, again, these are your inner child wounds. I feel like you kind of grew up in a little bit of a emotionally imbalanced environment where you didn't get your needs met because it like made you feel unworthy. There were things that happened in your childhood that made you feel unworthy, and there was people that kept your energy down or tried to keep your energy down. So again, you might have been somebody that was very creative, very intuitive, someone that was a black sheep of the family, but had talents, but wasn't really allowed to build on those talents because it was seen as not important, something frivolous. So it made you again feel unworthy. However, you have resilience. And the resilience, I feel like you definitely brought that out in the relationship, meaning like this person stayed away from you, they ghosted, they did a lot of things to try to manipulate you, to scare you, to get you to like give them what they wanted, but you didn't do that. It's again, this person thought that you were naive. Now we see naive and innocent. I feel like this person uh because this is a soul relationship, they just thought that you're going to be naive, that they were going to use your innocence of the relationship against you. And I feel like that's been done to you before because you're a highly sensitive person that tends to lead with your heart. So I feel like someone in your environment that you grew up with when you were young and naive um, made you feel unworthy. And they did so by suppressing you, by oppressing you. So again, your hobbies, your interests, the things that stirred up your soul were seen as unimportant. And if anything, they were stagnated due to, parents telling you not to do it or someone in your environment not seeing that it was worthy of you to do. But I feel like you might have went along with it like because you had to, but slowly as you got older, I feel like you reverted back to your natural like way, which is to be resilient against like people that tell you don't do this, don't do that, because what happened was you listened to those people that told you how to live, what to do, what not to do, not to what not to feed, and you weren't happy. And so you got to a place where you're like, I'm like, regardless, I'm going to be happy. And that takes resilience because when we grow up in a family, a lot of times, or just collectively, the world doesn't really care about your happiness. It cares about what you can do for it. And a lot of times, or how it's seen. And what I see here is it's like it didn't matter, about what you felt with this person. It's what this person was again really authentically giving you, and what they authentically was giving you was nothing but a headache and manipulation. And it wasn't because they didn't have feelings. What we saw here is that this person in this story actually did have feelings. They just wanted to do things their way. And, you know, then what happened is they were told that they're not going to be able to do that. And of course, that was very triggering for them and upsetting for them. And they were confronted with having to really make that decision. But in the end, love wins. And that's what we saw here. And that's not, it's not uncommon. We may feel like it's uncommon in our life. Maybe it'll happen once in your life, maybe twice in your life, but it happens all the time. And it happens because transmutation. It's it's that really spirit says, well, I use people to help people heal and evolve. And what are they evolving into? The highest state of unconditional love, which is me, spiritual energy, the energy of the universe is unconditional love. And so we end off with belief. I believe in myself, the beauty of life, and the goodness of God. Thus, I have the power to fulfill my dreams. The will of the Almighty supports me. My life is showered in divine light, and my heart opens to the power of the universe. So, Spirit's saying, it's like put your energy into your dreams, put your energy into into yourself by, again, doing. Doing shows that you really believe. That's what the universe looks for. It doesn't just look for the words, it looks for you to embody the feeling. And we embody the feeling by, again, having our actions in alignment with it. And when you do that, then you're able to create the balance in your relationship. This person's coming back, they have the intention to say, I want it to be equal, give and take reciprocity now. It said it. So you have to hold that standard because this person doesn't exactly know what that looks like. They only know in their mind what it looks like. And healing doesn't feel good. So will they get triggered? Yes. But and will it look immature sometimes because they get triggered? Yes. So you can't have an unrealistic expectation of what it will look like. However, will it happen less and less and less over time? Yes, because it becomes more and more comfortable. Healing means changing what feels comfortable. And what feels comfortable to this person is codependency. They need people to like almost like degrade themselves in order for them to say, oh, okay, I guess you do like me. But then what happens is then this person doesn't like them over time because they made them into someone that they're not. So this is where you will, when you came in, you were like, I'm not going to do all that because you're degrading me. And so that's essentially what made this person look at you different from everybody else, and then have to look at themselves, and then have to come up with some sort of compromise. And that's what really healing really is all about when we have a soulmate, is about learning to be differently, learning to then, look at our situation through the new perception instead of through that spiritual block. I'm going to leave that there, Scorpio. You let me know how you resonated. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.